I have experienced many times of anger in my marriage, but one thing I always remember is that when a couple is angry with each other, it can easily cause unfortunate consequences. Therefore, I have learned that there are 10 things that couples need to remember to keep their life happy. First, I always forbid arguing in front of outsiders, because this not only does not solve the problem, but also makes the relationship between husband and wife more broken. When I was young, I used to think that arguing in front of everyone could prove that I was right, but I soon realized that this only made both of us lose face and made the relationship more tense. I learned to save face for my husband in front of friends and family, because my attitude towards him would affect how others respected us. If I put him down, people would also look at him with disrespect. Instead, I choose to respect him, even when we disagree, which helps maintain harmony in the relationship. I always remember that no conflict is caused by only one side. Both parties must learn to tolerate and forgive each other. When I learned to understand and accept my husband's shortcomings, our relationship became stronger. Arguing in front of outsiders only adds fuel to the fire, so all disagreements should be resolved privately to preserve affection and respect in the family. 2. I also learned to forbid arguing in front of my children. I used to argue in front of my children and realized that this left a deep wound in their hearts. I understand that the relationship between parents is where children feel safest, and when I cannot maintain that peace, I have unintentionally hurt the next generation. I try to be a good example for my children because I know that the relationship between husband and wife also affects how they view marriage later on. 3. Another lesson I learned is to not argue when my husband is sick. During his illness, I realized that comfort and love are the most valuable things I can give him. When my husband has health problems or feels frustrated, arguing only makes things worse. I learned to listen and understand his feelings, creating a peaceful space for us to share our worries and thoughts. Instead of arguing, I choose to hold hands, encourage and care for my husband with small but meaningful actions. I believe that loving each other in difficult times is the best way to strengthen the relationship between husband and wife. When we love and understand each other, I know that I am not only protecting our family happiness but also helping our relationship become stronger. 4. Do not dig up each other's past. I have witnessed many couples who dig up each other's past. Past mistakes, old relationships, all are brought up every time there is an argument. I understand that this action only makes the argument more tense and the conflict deeper. This is one of the biggest mistakes I have seen couples make when arguing. Let bygones be bygones. Never multiply one thing into two just to torment each other more. Because of a small matter, but complicate the problem just because they cannot let go of the past. I have learned that husband and wife come together because they love each other in the present, not to bring up the past. We need to be tolerant, respectful, and make concessions to each other to build a happy life. 5. Do not mention or insult the other person's relatives and parents. I always keep the principle that when arguing with my husband, I never insult his family. Insulting the other person's parents or relatives is the most serious thing and must be avoided. I understand that respecting my husband's family is respecting myself, and I always try to put myself in his shoes. Husband and wife need to treat both families fairly and should not be biased towards anyone. I know that when I treat my husband's relatives sincerely, he will appreciate and love me more. Therefore, when we have an argument, I do not let my parents know, because sometimes arguing is also a way for husband and wife to understand each other better. As the days go by, every time I think about the good things about my husband, my anger gradually disappears. 6. Do not break things when arguing. I have seen a few couples break things in the house when arguing. The sound of the crash combined with the sound of arguing made the situation more tense. This not only made the neighbors noisy but also scared the children. I understood that everything in the house was bought by myself, so there was no benefit in breaking it. I learned that when angry, it is best to hold back a little to keep the connection of happiness. Arguing is reasonable. There is no need to speak loudly. I always respect my manners even when arguing. If I can't control myself, I can throw a pillow. It doesn't make a big noise but helps me calm down. I know that being angry with each other is just a double-edged sword. Why should a husband and wife compete? Taking a step back, I realized that the vast sky and sea were waiting for me ahead. 7. When we are angry, we easily lose control and say things without thinking, but those words can cause deep hurt. I used to compare my husband with others, only looking at the things he hasn't done and forgetting his efforts. Those comparisons destroyed my husband's confidence and made our relationship more and more distant. I gradually understood that, in marriage, the most important thing is not to hurt each other with words. Thoughtless words can leave deep wounds that are difficult to heal. Therefore, I learned to control myself, focus on listening and understanding my husband more, instead of criticizing him when angry. I realized that respect and love in marriage do not come from winning an argument, but from knowing how to preserve and cherish each other. When we know how to control and listen, all conflicts can be resolved peacefully, helping the relationship become stronger. 8. Another thing I always remind myself is not to use death as a threat during an argument. In the past, there were times when I said things like, "I don't want to live anymore," just to express my anger and pressure on my husband. But then, I realized that those words not only hurt him, but also showed my weakness and immaturity. Using death as a threat is never a solution. It only makes things worse and erodes trust between two people. I understand that love needs to be built on respect and understanding, not destructive threats. Instead of letting anger overwhelm me, I have learned to control my emotions and choose to communicate more positively. I know that when I express my anger in a civilized way, we can find solutions to all problems together. Good couples should not say bitter words in anger because they can leave long-term consequences in both of their hearts. Instead of threatening, I chose to open up and share my true feelings, and this has helped our relationship become stronger and more sustainable. 9. Do not hit people. I always keep in mind that under any circumstances when arguing with my husband, I am never allowed to hit people. I have experienced moments of extreme anger, moments when emotions almost completely dominate my thoughts. But I understand clearly that no matter how angry I am, hitting people with my hands is never acceptable. A slap can destroy all the love and respect that has been built up over many years of living together. The hand can touch the skin, but the real wound lies deep in the soul. I know that skin wounds can heal over time, but the pain in the heart is hard to compensate. Every time my emotions rise, I always remind myself, impulse is the devil. Angry actions in the heat of the moment can leave serious, irreparable consequences. Husband and wife come together with love and tolerance, so they should not let uncontrolled anger destroy their happiness. I always try to stay calm and take a step back every time we argue, not letting emotions overwhelm my reason. Because I understand that keeping your hands calm is also a way to keep your family happy. 10. Don't say divorce. When we started our marriage, I always reminded myself that the two words divorce should never be said easily. Building a family is not a simple thing. It requires a lot of patience, effort, and time from both sides. I understand that, during arguments, emotions often overflow, and sometimes we say things we don't really mean. But saying the word divorce during an argument is not only a manifestation of lack of self-control, but also a deep wound for your partner. Divorce is not just a word, it carries a lot of emotions, memories, and meanings. When this word is mentioned, it can break the emotional bond between husband and wife, creating a large gap that is difficult to heal. I have witnessed couples who cannot get back together after saying this word, even though they still love each other. Therefore, I always try to find other ways to resolve conflicts instead of using harsh words. Sincere and open communication is the key for my husband and I to understand each other better, instead of letting angry words hurt. Every time we argue, I remind myself that the important thing is not who is right or wrong, but how we can both understand and sympathize with each other more. I know that love and respect for each other is a solid foundation to help overcome all difficulties. A marital relationship, like any other relationship, requires effort from both sides. Avoiding mentioning divorce during difficult times not only helps protect feelings, but also gives both sides a chance to make up and mend the relationship. I cherish my relationship and always remember that all problems can be solved if we have determination and patience. With love and mutual respect, I believe that together we will build a strong and lasting relationship, overcoming all challenges in life. I really hope that these shares will help you better understand the taboos in the relationship between husband and wife when arguing. No matter what arguments or disagreements occur, I always believe that love and sympathy will help us overcome them. Maintaining harmony in the family is not just the responsibility of one person, but the effort of both sides. I hope that, through my experiences, you will learn a lesson and together build a happy and sustainable family. If you have your own views or opinions on this issue, do not hesitate to share. I look forward to receiving your thoughts. Let's maintain love and harmony in the family. And don't forget to follow the channel so as not to miss other interesting and useful content. See you in the next sharing videos.